Prince William, game face on, was back in front of the cameras, putting his anger with the BBC and his personal feelings to one side as he began a week of visits in Scotland. His criticism had been damning, not just as Princess Diana's son, but as an heir to the throne.
What saddens me most is that if the BBC had properly investigated the complaints and concerns first raised in 1995, my mother would have known that she had been deceived. She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way rather than asking the tough questions.
The Prime Minister, during a visit to HMS Queen Elizabeth, responded to the royal intervention and called for action from the BBC.
Well, I am obviously concerned by the findings of Lord Dyson's report. I'm very grateful to him for what he's done. I can only imagine the feelings of the royal family. And I hope very much that the BBC will be taking every possible step to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again.
26 years after Princess Diana sat down with Martin Bashir, we now know he used fake bank statements to convince her and her brother she was being spied on. And BBC bosses then covered up his deceit and lies. It means questions for the likes of James Harding, who was director of BBC News when Bashir was rehired in 2016 after he'd left the corporation.
I didn't know. And in fact, if I had known, of course he wouldn't have got the job. And I can't help feeling that the fact that he was hired back in 2016 has made things more difficult for everyone, so I'm sorry that he was. Lord Dyson's report, as I understand, and as I've read, has clearly spoken to Lord Hall at some length. In terms of the rehiring was done by BBC News. I ran BBC News, the responsibility for it sits with me.
Prince Harry, in his statement, blamed unethical tactics for ultimately leading to his mother's death. When you speak to those who really push for this inquiry, they feel even more justified in their actions because of those responses from Prince William and Prince Harry. But William in particular will have thought very carefully about what he had to say. The royal family don't pick public battles unless it's about something that matters to them dearly. Publicly, Prince William may feel he's said his piece. His focus over the coming days will be on representing the Queen. In his eyes, the interview created an ongoing false narrative, and that still needs to be addressed by the BBC. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News in Edinburgh.